Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 27th of January meeting of the Haltom City Council. We're glad to have all of you here tonight, those in the council chambers as well as those who are going to be watching on HCTV, both the live telecast tonight and the replays later in the week. The first item on our agenda tonight is the invocation and pledge of allegiance led by Councilmember Tracy Henderson, and if you will, stand for both of those, please.
Please bow your head. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight as a body to lead this great city into the future. Be with us tonight as we do the business of the city and keep us safe as we travel home. Lord, be mindful of the military as they ship out to Iraq and for Pat Hurley in this time of illness. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you'll notice, Council Member Markham is not with us tonight. He is ill, and we're sorry he's not feeling well, and we look forward to him being back with us at the next council meeting, and we wish him well in his recovery. We have two presentations to make tonight, and we're very excited to be able to make those. Lisa Newsom, our Special Events Coordinator, if you'll come forward at this time. We're going to do first the Haltom High School Theater Department proclamation.
Yes. We've invited the Haltom High School Theater Department here because they participated in our Dickens on Broadway community tree lighting event, and we asked our citizens as well as the students to dress in period dress. And a large group of high school students came to the event in full costume and remained in character for the entire evening. We asked the library board members to serve as judges for a costume contest, and all these students were entered in the contest, and the board had such a difficult time deciding that we decided that they should receive a proclamation for their extreme effort. So I'd like to invite the students to stand up, and Mayor, if you would help me make the proclamation. This is Vincent Lagozo. He was Scrooge. Mary Stanley, and this is Mark Christensen, and as you can see, he came in costume this evening. He's Marley's ghost. Is that for me to read it?
Yes, please.
Okay. Whereas the quality of life in a community is enriched by the volunteerism of its citizens, and whereas the Haltom City Beautification and Revitalization Board has issued a request for participation in a quality of life event for the city, and whereas the Haltom High School Theater Department has accepted that challenge, thereby setting an example for future students and citizens to follow, and whereas the City of Haltom City wishes to recognize the Haltom High School Theater Department and its students of 2002-2003 for their contribution to the Dickens on Broadway community tree lighting. Now, therefore, I, Calvin White,
I'm honored to make this proclamation to you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Would you mind if I said something? Would you mind if I said something?
Yes, please.
In turn for this, I thank y'all very much, and I thank the Haltom City community. I was also, since we received this, I'd like to make an invitation to y'all that Saturday is the opening of our musical, and we'd like everyone to come support us. The tickets are $7 and they're sold at our school during the school day. Thank you. Oh, it's Grease. Thank you.
Are we ready?
Item number 2, the 2002 Neighborhood Christmas Decorating Contest, and I think this is a project of the Beautification Board. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. The Haltom City Beautification Board has been hosting or sponsoring a neighborhood decorating contest since 1986, where we've encouraged residents to decorate their homes with Christmas lights. As a result of this, it's become really popular. People really vie for this award, and our city is well known for its Christmas lights, so much so that the T brings people through 3 nights a week during the Christmas season just to see the lights in Haltom City. I have a few of the winners here. We actually divide the city up into 6 sections and choose 3 people in each section for most creative, best use of lights, and best theme. But we have a few people here tonight to accept their certificates, and I'd like to call Frank Fernandez up at this time to receive his. He received a certificate for best use of theme. Thank you.
Thank you, Haltom City. I'll thank my wife because she did a lot of part of it, and myself. Thank you a lot.
Are Susan and Ted Beasley in the audience? Okay, thank you. Charles Burgess. His wife Carol is also named on the certificate, and they're at 4937 Jordan Park, and he won this for best use of lights.
I want to thank you all too, but you all missed the most attraction that there is on Thanksgiving evening, 8 o'clock every Thanksgiving. Okay, is what we call the grand lighting, and you'll always see us either on Channel 5, Channel 4, Channel 8, Channel 11 News. They always come out and take the grand lighting photos. Okay, so you're all welcome to come every Thanksgiving. It's 8 o'clock. Myself, Mrs. Claus, the elves, we all come out and we meet everybody. And I know you all don't believe that I play Santa Claus, so I did bring my ID with me so you all can see that I do play Santa Claus. Okay? Thank you.
David Cervenka, 4404 Parish. He won for best use of lights as well in Section 1.
Thank y'all for recognizing me, and I want to thank my aunt who's here. She's my clearance light hunter. She finds all the lights for me, and my best friend who's not here helped me decorate, Bobby Smith. Thank you.
Is Bill Cheney in the audience? Okay, I'm sorry I missed you. Bill Cheney at 5028 Roundtree Road, won for most creative in Section 4.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for this. I'm going to need a patrol car out there next year to direct traffic.
Thank you. And next is Ronald Harris and Randy Green, 5328 Ashley, for best use of lights in Section 4. Ronald?
Okay.
I think and Kenneth and Carol Lamar at 4516 D Lane, best use of lights, Section 2.
No.
Okay. Are Gary and Judy Marsden in the audience? Some people slip by me. They're at 5337 Parkview, and they won for most creative in Section 6.
Thank you, everybody. It's always a pleasure. We like doing it.
Thank you. And I know Becky Peterson is in the audience. Her husband Mike was unable to attend. She's at 5704 Georgian, and they won for best use of lights in Section 5.
I'd like to thank everybody for selecting our home. Actually, my husband is the one that deserves all of the credit because he's the one that did all the work. But anyway, thank y'all very much. I appreciate it.
And are Terry and Laura Thompson in the audience? I guess they were unable to make it. Thank you very much for your time, and I'd just like to encourage you during the Christmas season to get out and drive the city, because it's really astounding how much trouble our citizens go to. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Newsom, and to all of you ladies and gentlemen who work so hard to put those decorations up. It does make Haltom City look beautiful, and we appreciate your efforts in doing that. You're certainly welcome to stay for the rest of the council meeting if you want to. These have been known to go on for several hours, and we'd be glad to have you, but if you would like to go home, you're certainly welcome to do that. Yeah. Okay, we move now to the consent agenda, and if you're looking on one of the agendas, that consists of items 1 through 10. We're removing item number 9 for individual discussion after we take action on the consent agenda. We're also adding item 13, so it's 1 through 10 minus 9 plus 13. I am in line for a motion with regard to the consent agenda. Councilmember Hurley.
Mayor, I move that we approve consent agenda.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second? Councilmember Fowler.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. If you will, display your votes, gentlemen. And that passes by unanimous vote of those present. We move now to item number 9, and I'll ask our city manager, if he will, to introduce that and tell us what you're asking from the council tonight.
We've lost our representative. We've lost our representative from ISI, but basically, item number 9 involves a staff recommendation to implement an automated solid waste collection program here in Haltom City. This topic has been discussed here since back early last summer, and with the idea that we would put together a pilot project area and test the possibility of implementing an automated solid waste collection system for a period of somewhere between 3 and 6 months. That's yet to be determined. And then at the end of that pilot program, we would assess the program and get feedback from the citizens and determine whether or not we would proceed on with a full implementation throughout the whole city. For those of you who do not know, an automated solid waste collection program basically consists of a large automated, large container that would be distributed by IESI in this case at no expense to the citizens, and you would then place all your trash weekly in that trash can and be picked up through an automated process. What we discussed a little bit earlier this evening to do is the possibility of holding a town hall meeting in the next few weeks so that we can unveil this in a very detailed manner for the citizens. And so I think that's where we're headed with this program, is that my expectation is there'll be some council action tonight to instruct staff to proceed on, schedule a town hall meeting, give everybody an opportunity to that's going to be involved in the pilot study area to come to the meeting and get a full understanding of what we're proposing to do. The pilot program, as designed now, involves a little more than 2,000 homes. That's about 20% of the city. So it's going to be fairly large. There'll be 3 different pockets in the community that are delineated. And at this town hall meeting, we'll go into greater detail and explain that to you. Those people that will be in the pilot project area, I would anticipate, would receive a notice in advance of this meeting so that you would have an opportunity to come to the meeting if you so desire. So,
Councilmember Williams, I believe you have your light on.
Thank you, Mayor. As the city manager says, we were discussing this in the pre-council, and I think the council all agreed that this is something that's going to affect everybody in Haltom City. So something to that magnitude, we feel like it would be best to have a town hall meeting. And so we're work with the media and all outlets we have here to advertise this meeting when we have it. I think we'll suggest that we may have this at one of the school auditoriums if we can coordinate that with the BISD. So saying that, I'd like to make a motion that we have staff direct them to set up a date for a town hall meeting to discuss this.
Have a motion. Councilmember Hurley.
I'd like to second that.
Have a motion, a second. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, there being none, if you will register your votes, I will display them, and that passes by unanimous vote. That takes us now to item number 11, which is a public hearing, and we will ask our planning director, Mr. Pliska, if he will come forward at this time and introduce this item.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council members, citizens of Haltom City. This item is P1902, and that is to conduct a public hearing and consider the application of Mr. Charlie Niedziolek for the final plats of lots 1 through 5, Block 1, Jacob Stone Edition, being a final plat of tracts 35A, 35B, and 35D of the J.W. Elliston Survey, Abstract 472. This contains approximately 3.020 acres of land and is located in the 3000 block of Layton Avenue. The applicant is final platting the property in order to develop these lots and to bring the existing property into compliance with the city's subdivision ordinance. The site, as stated previously, is 3.020 acres of land and is located on the east side of Layton Avenue. Property is currently zoned SF2, Single Family Residential District. All utility companies have been contacted for the necessary easements. Due to the fact that this is a residential property, we did have to do a 200-foot legal notice as well as hold this public hearing. Property owners were notified in the Fort Worth Star Telegram on January 3rd, 2003. 48 property owners were notified. Staff received 3 in favor and 0 in opposition of these 48. I list for you the existing utility locations for Layton Avenue. Thoroughfare access, of course, will be from Layton Avenue. Fire protection will be provided through the necessary statements. Floodplain, it is not in a designated floodplain. Sidewalks, as property is developed, the applicant will be required to put sidewalks in there. Therefore, I formally submit that at the meeting on January 14, 2003, the P&Z Commission unanimously recommended approval of this plat, final plat P1902, to the City Council, and I formally submit 11 by 17 reduced copy for your approval.
Okay, gentlemen on the council, any questions for Mr. Pliska regarding this item? Mr. Pliska, our purpose here tonight is to conduct a public hearing first of all and then take action regarding approval of this plat. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir. And also Mr. Niedziolak is in attendance tonight.
Okay. I will open the public hearing at this time, and and I apologize for not being able to pronounce your name. Would you like to address the council at this time, or just be available if members of the council have questions? Members of the council, any questions for the gentleman? Okay, there being none. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak either for or against this application? Okay, there being none, I will close the public hearing at this time, and we will now move to approve this plat. Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, Mayor. Move to approve P-019-02.
Have a motion. Councilmember Averett.
That's for a second, Mayor.
Have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion on the motion? If you will, register your vote, and that passes by unanimous vote.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Pliska. Mr. Van Hughes, I believe you're going to introduce item number 12 at this time.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The item that you have before you is twofold. The first part of the item is to conduct a public hearing regarding the current application for the city's CDBG project. The project that the engineering department is proposing you to consider is the reconstruction of Gage Street between Haltom Road and Wood Street. And upon closing the public hearing, we'd ask that you formally adopt a resolution so that we can turn that in with the application. With that, I would be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Members of the council, any questions for Mr. Van Uyenhuis regarding this item? Okay, thank you. Greg, there being none, I will open the public hearing at this time. Do we have anyone in the audience wishing to address the issue that Mr. Van Uyenhuis just presented to us? If you do, indicate that. Come forward at this time. Okay, there being none, I'll close the public hearing and we'll move to the corresponding resolution. Councilmember Jennings.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Move to approve R 2003-00716.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Councilmember Averett.
That's for a second, Mayor.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, there being none, if you'll register your vote, and that passes by unanimous vote. We come now to the Visitor Citizens Forum portion of our meeting, and Ms. Staub, you have not received any speakers' request cards?
No, sir.
And I don't have any either. I want to take just a moment to address what we're trying to achieve with the Visitor Citizens Forum. Those of you who were here for our last meeting, and those of you who may have watched on HCTV, may have noticed we had some confusion, and the buck stops on my desk in regard to that. And what I want to do is address the issue based on our municipal code and an ordinance the council took action on to approve back in the early 90s that is still on the books that addressed the subject of presentations by citizens during council meetings. I do this for the purpose of clarity, to be sure all of us understand how things are to proceed in regard to this. I'm not going to read the entire section. I would encourage all of you, if you have an interest in this, to look in the municipal code. Section 2-2 regulates this area of presentation by citizens during council meetings. Presentations by citizens with prior notification, that is, by filling out one of the speaker's request cards before the council meeting starts, shall be limited to 6 minutes. And that allows for discretion by the mayor or the council to reasonably extend those limits. Presentation by citizens without prior notification shall be limited to 3 minutes. Now, I'm just simply reading this off of the ordinance that's currently in place and that we will adhere to in the future. This also allows for discretion by the mayor or the council to reasonably extend those limits. If we have a group present consisting of 10 or more persons and they wish to have a representative speak for that organized group, that too has a limit of 6 minutes on it, allowing for discretion by the mayor or the council to reasonably extend those limits. It's the duty and responsibility of the city secretary to secure a method of accurate timing and to officially notify the mayor and the council when time is elapsed for each presentation. Provision E under this, anyone speaking before the council is asked to approach the speaker podium in the council chambers and first state their name and address for the record. Only one person may approach the microphone at a time, and only the person at the microphone shall be allowed to speak. In other words, no one can speak from the audience. You would need to come to the podium. The next section, speakers must address their comments to the presiding officer rather than individual council members or staff or the audience. If a speaker's comments are longer than the established time limit, the speaker may file written remarks or supporting information with the city secretary, who can then pass it on to the council or to the city manager and to the staff if requested. The next item, all speakers must limit their remarks to the specific subject matter being considered by the council under the agenda item indicated, or if it is a speaker's request card item, to the subject matter identified on the speaker's request card. And all speakers are to refrain from either profanity, obscenity, or personal insults or derogatory remarks against any individual, and are to conduct themselves in a decorous and a civil manner. And the last provision of this ordinance that we have in our municipal code that regulates this states that the chief of police or his designee will act as sergeant at arms for the council and shall furnish whatever assistance is needed to enforce the rules herein established. In the event that a speaker fails to conform to the rules set forth in this section, the presiding officer shall notify the speaker that he or she is out of order. If the speaker fails to heed the presiding officer's warning, the sergeant at arms will escort the speaker from the meeting room. In case the presiding officer shall fail to act in any of these provisions I've just mentioned, any member of the council may move to require enforcement of the rules. And the affirmative vote of 2/3 of the council shall require enforcement by the sergeant at arms. So I read that for the information of all of us, and to make a commitment to you that as the presiding officer, we will, at all council meetings, beginning tonight and in the future, follow the provisions that are stated in this. Any questions or comments from members of the council regarding this item before we proceed? Councilmember Williams.
Mr. Mayor, I just thank you for going through there for us, and you were just almost 1 minute short of running out of time on that one.
Councilmember Fowler.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, that still provides for someone, if they have an individual item that they would like to speak on, they would still be allowed to speak at that time on any individual item. Is that correct?
Certainly.
Okay.
Certainly. Anyone who'd like to speak on any item that's posted on the agenda can certainly do so. Fill out one of the speaker's request cards. If this is a public hearing, that doesn't require anybody to fill out a speaker's request card, but certainly this is designed to simply provide some guidelines to make for an orderly process in the conducting of the meeting. It is in no way intended to stifle any kind of opportunity for citizens to participate in the things that are brought forth for the council to address. We probably have abused this from time to time. We've seen abuses in our council meetings, and what I'm attempting to do tonight is just asking for everybody's voluntary cooperation in addressing these areas and allowing this section, which serves a great function, the Visitor Citizens Forum, to proceed in a positive way that will be constructive and objective in taking care of the business of the city. Nothing further on the Visitor Citizens Forum. We have some announcements and events. Ms. Staub, I believe you have an announcement to make at this time.
Yes, Mayor, Council, and citizens, I want to invite you to a special meeting that will be held Monday, February 3rd. This is to canvass the results of the election of this coming Saturday. That meeting will be held at 6 o'clock here in the City Council chambers.
Okay. Councilmember Fowler, I believe you have an announcement to make at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Great opportunity, as has been stated earlier tonight. We have so many citizens that volunteer their time in our community and do such a so many great things for the rest of the city and all the citizens. We have our 17th annual Haltom City Stampede, which is a 10K run and also a 5K run walk that is a great part of our community. It's put on by the Recreation Center, and the Park Board spends a great deal of time on this project. These will be, I believe, in City Hall as well as the Recreation Center if anyone would like to register earlier, or if you would like to volunteer. I know we have a great deal of senior citizens and a great number of students at the different schools that participate and volunteer in this program. It's a lot of fun. It takes about half a day, starts 7 or so in the morning and finishes around noon. It's a great opportunity for the citizens to come together and see people from outside our community that participate in this run. I'd like to ask everyone to either take time and volunteer or get out and participate in the run itself.
Thank you, Councilmember Fowler. And Councilmember Williams, you have a couple of announcements, I believe.
Thank you, Mayor. The Images of Haltom City's photo contest deadline is this Friday, January the 31st. Entry forms are available and guidelines are at the City Hall and the library. The award for the best picture is $250, so it's worth it to get out there and turn your pictures in. Category winners will receive $75. For details, contact Haltom City Public Information 222-7767. That'll be Fran Burns. She'll be glad to give you any information you need. Also, this year we have free help with tax returns. Will be available at the library each Thursday beginning at February the 6th. Anyone needing help must call for an appointment. The free help will be available from noon to 4 p.m. The number you call is 222-7786. Both those phone numbers I give are area code 817. And I also want to give special thanks to the Beautification Board and its members and volunteers and those that judge the Christmas lights. We mentioned it earlier a while ago, and we didn't get much chance to thank each individual member of that. And also we have a couple of students from school here today, and I have Jonathan here, and we have a scout on the back row, and I want to thank y'all for attending tonight. That's it.
Anyone else with announcements or events upcoming in Haltom City?
Mayor, Council, if I could, I'd like to introduce one of our newest staff members. Is David here? Fain? In the back. I'd just like to point David out. David is our new Public Works Director who just started with the city working last week. He's come to us from Lake Jackson, Texas. He's worked at several cities around the state, including Colleyville, which was a fairly close city some years back. David's in the process of buying a home here in Haltom City, so he will become one of us very soon. And his responsibilities include streets, drainage, water, and sewer for the city. So we'd like to welcome you here tonight, David. That's all I have, man.
Welcome to Haltom City. Any other announcements or events? Okay, there being none, we move to item number 14, and our Assistant City Manager, Mr. Thomas Muir, if you would, come forward at this time. This is our Capital Improvement Status Report, and I think I noticed we have about 19 projects on your agenda. You want to bring us up to date on where we are with all of those?
I'll do my best. Mayor and Council, I'll start off with Carson. I know everybody's been hearing about this, and I think I've been up here the last few months saying we're going to finish it, we're going to finish it, and I'm still saying we're going to finish it. Probably late February now, we started the sanitary sewer modifications that the engineer that the engineering contractor worked out. So those have started this week. So hopefully that project will be finished by mid to late February. Broadway Avenue, as everybody's aware, the intersection closed a couple of times since in November and December. Created some problems for some of the businesses down there. In an effort to try and help them, we've issued some informational sheets in the water bills. We've added some stuff to our website to try and help them out. And also on our website, we've got a new reference site for the Broadway project that goes over construction schedules, maybe by intersections, some pictures out there that go over the project, and it'll be updated weekly so that the citizens can go out there and see weekly updates on this particular project. I guess the biggest thing about that is there will be a traffic change probably in the next 30 days from Beach to Jean, switching traffic to the north side, to the newly paved side. And again, that'll happen in 30 days. So I know that stretch between Beach and Jean right now with Broadway that's traveled on the south side is very bumpy, to say the least. Next thing I want to bring your attention to is Lindsay, Revere, and Roxy. As you know, we started Roxy first. We're waiting on Encore to do some of their work right now. But hopefully that'll be complete, and that'll be complete very soon, and we'll start the paving. We should be finished with that street by late February. Lindsay will be started, and then Revere will follow that. Hopefully everything will be finished by I don't know, April, late April, early May. Jerry and Mona, concrete paving's been done, the driveway cutouts have been done, the sidewalks are in the process of being done. Both those streets should be complete by late February. On Catalpa, the project is essentially complete. All we're waiting for now is grass to get established, and the fire hydrants need to be raised. But as far as the grass, we'll have to wait till the spring for that thing to finish up. For the North Beach 820 frontage road, there's been a lot of progress out there. They started the drainage improvements next week, or this week, I think. They'll be starting the paving. Well, first week of February, next week, they'll start the paving of it. They should be finished by mid to late March of that whole project, that frontage road going from Beach to Anderson. As far as drainage projects, the only thing I do want to highlight is on the Little Fossil Creek Improvements Project from Carson and 121. This project is kind of in limbo right now due to Congress in their funding. They haven't passed a budget, so the funding for the design of that is kind of up in limbo until Congress comes off center and approves their budget. But so that thing is kind of being held up. The on the sanitary sewer, the administrative order issues on the Little Fossil Creek drainage basin. The situation with B&H right now, we're calling in the bonding company. We've drafted some issues up and discussed them with the B&H and the bonding company, and we're working with them to try and take over the project. Due to having to take this action, the completion time of this project is somewhat uncertain, but it will be finished. We regret having to do this. We don't like having to take this action. It's really the last action you want to take is bring in a bonding company, but it's something that needs to be done on this project. And consequently, on the manhole rehab project, the next one referenced in the report, we may have to be taking that same action. We're following that same course. Now, there is a business relationship between B&H and Infra Rehab, so we're expecting that we're having to take that, but there's still steps that have to be followed and criteria that has to be met to complete these things. The Big Fossil Creek Drainage Basin, that project is moving adequately. It's about 10% complete. It's still on schedule to be complete by October of '03. On the building front, a lot of activity there on the vertical construction. For the Public Works facility, you approved tonight the rescission of a bid award that you made back in November and awarded the contract to number 2. What happened was that the awarded contractor from November had some economic issues, had some concerns about his subs, had some subs go out of business, didn't feel he could stand by the prices. He wanted to pull out. In negotiating with him, it just got to a point where he just didn't seem to want to do the job. He had other jobs he'd prefer to do. And I don't think the city council wants to make a contractor do it or fight with a contractor to do a job that they don't want to do, especially a job like this. It's going to, in 3 phases, and could take 14 to 18 months. The number 2 bidder was very close to number 1, price-wise. We negotiated with number 2, and number 2's ready to go. He's willing to stand by his price, and by your action tonight, you authorized a contract with him, and we'll be pursuing that vigorously this week. In fact, just a minute ago, the architect dropped off the contract documents, so I'll be giving them to the attorney tonight to review. For the rec center, last week we did a groundbreaking. It was an exciting time to have that. They'll probably be really moving some big dirt with the big machinery probably sometime next week or the week after, but the rec center the project has started. The abatement process has already been complete out there, but the actual construction will be starting very, very soon. The fire station, we're having a pre-con meeting this Thursday. We'll hopefully be starting construction sometime early February, and that'll take about 10 months to start. Last council meeting on the 13th, you awarded the contract to Hysaw and Associates for about $2.6 million, and that'll take about 10 months to complete. As far as the library, we're still working on an RFQ for architects. We'll probably be mailing those out probably in the next 30 to 60 days, once we decide exactly what we're going to be doing with the library. The beautification on Belknap is about to go out to bid. We got the final documents from TxDOT. They'll be issuing that thing next month. Hopefully start construction in late April, early May on that. It's about a $400,000 streetscape project along Belknap. The traffic islands on Denton Highway, if you've driven by in the last couple of months, you've seen them in quite a bit of a disrepair. Those will, we'll get a crews back out there day after tomorrow, Wednesday. The contractor will be back out there finishing up the curbing, so hopefully in the next week or so that project will be complete. And I just want to finish it up with a note on the police and fire software. And one thing I failed to note in my report is that they're about to go live with their records management system this week. This week or next week? Is it this week? They're going to go live with that, something they've been working very hard on, doing tests and stuff. They're going to be going live with it. And with that, that concludes. That's a Reader's Digest version of this report, but that's I'll take any any questions that you may have.
Councilmember Fowler, I think your light was on first, and then Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I guess I should just say thanks most of all, because I know in many years past we haven't been able to have any public works projects. So it's great to have an opportunity to have 19 thrown at us at once.
Yeah, I haven't counted them, but I didn't quite realize I had 19. But yeah.
We have 19. There's a lot of great things going on in our community, a lot of new facilities being built, a lot of street projects that are being worked on. Mm-hmm. I know it's a pain for some of the citizens, but I think in the long run, I think once we get these projects completed, I think everyone's going to be very happy at the direction the city's going. I know your staffs and the city manager and everyone involved, the engineering department's put in a great deal of time and made a lot of effort into making this a better place to live, and we do appreciate that. I have two quick questions for you, though. Just for clarification, I know y'all are catching a lot of grief over Broadway and over Carson Street not being completed. Would you mind giving a brief summary, or Mr. Van Nieuwenhuis, that those aren't necessarily our projects that we're doing, that we're kind of at the mercy of TxDOT, and a lot of the citizens don't understand that, but these are projects that are partially funded?
Certainly. Both these projects, as you said, are TxDOT projects that the city is contributing a very significant amount. I don't want the citizens to think it's just a drop in the bucket. There are millions of dollars that we're contributing into the water and sewer work that's being done in both these streets, but these are clearly TxDOT projects, and we are at their mercy. And to receive those funds, those matching funds from them to do these projects, we're going to do it their way. And in doing that, it's not always the most pleasant experience to go through, but then again, you're getting state money to do this, but it's clearly, as you said, it's a state projects, clearly.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Muir, do you have any idea when we're going to be doing a groundbreaking for the fire station? I know it's going to be coming up soon, but have y'all talked about that?
We have talked about it, and we're going to talk about it at the pre-con Thursday, so I don't have a date to announce yet. We wanted to see what the status of the contract documents that they brought by last week were, to get a better idea when we're going to be executing contracts and then do the groundbreaking with that. But those dates will be well publicized, and y'all will certainly be invited.
Very good. We did the one at the rec center at 4 o'clock on a weekday. Do you find that worked well for y'all?
There was plenty of people there, I think.
Yeah, I was pleased with that.
We had a nice turnout for that.
Shovels were heavy, but other than
that. So I would hope we would shoot for.
We can probably do that. Yeah.
Anything further, Councilmember Henderson?
Nothing else at this time, Mayor. Thanks.
One follow-up along the line of Councilmember Henderson's question. What about Public Works? Do we have a groundbreaking set for that, or is that in the plans? Or
it's certainly planned. I don't have one set up yet. Still a little early for that, but I'm hoping to do it in early February. Okay. Right now, fire station is probably going to be coming first, but the Public Works will be coming shortly thereafter, maybe as close as a matter of days or a week, or it'll be very close. Is what we're hoping for.
Well, as Councilmember Fowler mentioned a moment ago, the city's gone a long time without any projects like this, and now we have 19 going on just all over everywhere. And I do want to encourage all of our citizens to attend those groundbreakings. That's a real opportunity for celebration of some great things that's happening in Haltom City. So thank you for that. Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. All due fairness, I see Mr. Bland out there, and we haven't forget about you. We are working on the library, and we will be breaking ground on that as soon as we find a place to put that. So let's not leave anybody out.
Right.
So lots of good things going on.
Lots of good
Haltom
things.
City. Any further questions for Mr. Muir regarding capital improvement status? Thank you, Mr. Muir. We move now to item 15, boards and commissions quarterly reports. I don't think the council needs to take any action on that. Ms. Staub, would you like to make a comment for the information of the people in the audience what this item consists of, please?
This agenda item is to clearly give a quarterly report for all the boards and commissions, the status of what they're doing, what they have accomplished, and what their goals are. And each board has provided those to the council. And if you do need a copy, you can get these online or you can call my office.
We have a lot of citizens volunteering on our boards and commissions, and we appreciate all the work they do. And these reports they submit on a quarterly basis helps staff and council keep up with all of the things they do, and we sincerely appreciate all of the activities. Item number 16, resignations of board members. Any action to be taken on that tonight? Okay, there being none, we move to item 17, the appointment and reappointment to boards and commissions. Councilmember Jennings.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have appointment to place one on the Charter Committee, Mr. W.J. Hester, 3616 Earl Drive, and the City Secretary has his phone number and other pertinent information.
Okay, gentlemen, if you will, register your ratification of this appointment. And that does ratify by unanimous vote. Item 18 is the attendance requirements. Councilmember Markham, ill and not able to be here tonight. Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. I spoke with Brother Markham about 5:30, and he's in great deal of pain with his back, and I wish he could have been here tonight, and he can't. So I make a motion to excuse his absence.
Have a motion. Councilmember Fowler.
A second for that motion.
We have a motion and a second to excuse Councilmember Markham's absence because of illness. If you'll register your vote. And that passes by unanimous vote. That completes the items on the agenda up to this point. Item 19 has to do with executive session. The council will move into executive session at this time as authorized by section 551.071, 072, and 074. Any action that the council takes on any of these items will occur when we reconvene in open session.
Sometime tomorrow.
There was a couple of times I looked around thinking I might get thumbs up just any minute. So, anytime. Oh, I agree. I hope that's
Let's do it. Let's do it. You weren't copied on this. We got this today. It's an open records request. You may be familiar with drafting. This is his attorney. And